So after the decent-ish reception to my last video on this topic, here I am doing it once again. Welcome back to BG's Books. I'm Mr. BG, and today I will be talking about movies you did not know were based on books, part 2. So, of course, about, I guess close to a week or even a week ago at this point, I made a video called Popular Movies You Did Not Know Were Based on Books. And while I do like that video, I realized that I talked about a lot of movies that people probably most likely knew were based off of books, or at least like heard somewhere that they were based off of books. And so for this video, I have 10 more movies that, while some are more obvious that they're based off of books, these ones are definitely not as well known for their books as the books in the first video, or the movies in the first video. So anyway, yeah, you know how this goes. I talk about a movie and the book it was based on, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But so yeah, if you do enjoy this video, just keep watching. I haven't even started yet, but yeah, just keep watching the video, and we will get right into it. So the first movie we will be talking about today is Striptease. And so, of course, I have Striptease, the movie, right here. I have watched it, and apparently it didn't do super well in the ratings back when it came out in 1996, which is 30 years ago this year, which is insane. But I don't know, I like Striptease, and I happen to be a fan of Demi Moore because, as you can see by this cover here, this movie has a lot of Demi Moore's eyes. I don't know what else you thought I would say, but it shows her eyes. It shows her eyes a lot. Anyway, so Striptease is actually based on the book by Carl Hiaasen, I think it is. And so, of course, the book is right here. And basically, for anyone who doesn't know, Striptease is kind of what it sounds like. This girl named Erin, played by Demi Moore, I guess used to be like part of like the government or something, or like something more better established than what she is doing, but she got divorced, lost custody of her daughter, and so in order to make ends meet, she resorts to becoming a stripper at a club, and then of course some weird 90s movie stuff happens. Anyway, I haven't read the book. I don't even have the book, but I don't know, I seem to like the movie, so I'm gonna want to check out the book because, you know, I didn't know it was based on a book until I was actively watching the movie, and I was like, ah, dang it, it's based on a book. So yeah, I will definitely get around to reading that and reviewing that at some point in the future. But yeah, so Striptease is based on a book. And coming in at the second movie on our list, it's a movie that a lot of people most likely did not know was based on a book. It's a very popular movie, especially for a particular character. If you, of course, when I reveal it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But this is also considered kind of a cult classic by now. But the movie is Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah, that was based on a book. Did you know that? I didn't know that initially. And so Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's kind of like a whodunit with cartoon characters and stuff. Of course, Jessica Rabbit is like very famous in the cartoon community for obvious reasons. But anyway, it is actually based on a book called Who Censored Roger Rabbit? And I haven't seen the movie or read the book, so I couldn't tell you what either one is about other than the like whodunit mystery thing. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting because I've heard of the movie, and I've even considered watching it a couple times whenever I would like find it on a streaming service or whatever. But I just never got around to watching it. And then my editor told me that it was actually based on a book. I'm like, huh, that's really interesting. So there you go. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is actually based on a book called Who Censored Roger Rabbit. So there you go. All right, so number 3 on this list is kind of obvious if you're like very familiar with movies and books and stuff. But the third movie on this list is Jaws from 1975. Yes, the Steven Spielberg classic, the ultimate shark movie, one of the greatest summer blockbusters of all time was based on this, a book. It's called Jaws by Peter Benchley, and Peter Benchley even co-wrote the screenplay. So there you go. I mean, of course, all these movies do say based on the novel by whoever, but you know, a lot of people may not pay attention to that. But anyway, so yeah, this one is more obvious. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know Jaws is based on a book at this point. I mean, the movie just turned 50 last year. The book turned 50 the year before that. So I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge that the movie was based on a book, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting because I always knew of Jaws the movie since I was very young. I'd never seen it until I read the book, but I didn't know it was a book until like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I found out it was a book fairly recently. But so yeah, I just thought that was incredibly interesting. But yeah, so for anyone who was not aware, Jaws, the movie, is based on Jaws, the book. So there you go. Coming in at the fourth movie on this list is probably one that will surprise some of you, but probably not others. And it is, of course, Die Hard from 1988. So, in case you don't know me, I love Die Hard. I watch it every Christmas because I do believe it's a Christmas movie, and I will not take no for an answer. It is a Christmas movie. No debate about that. But anyway, regardless, Die Hard is just an absolutely incredible movie. Basically, it follows Bruce Willis playing New York cop John McClane, who is visiting his family for Christmas in LA. But at his wife's Christmas party, they get hijacked by terrorists, and then John McClane is the only one that can stop them. And so, pretty great movie, but a lot of people probably didn't know that it was actually based on this book by Roderick Thorp called Nothing Lasts Forever. And so, Nothing Lasts Forever, I guess it's... I mean, I haven't read the book yet. I only know it for Die Hard, but I know that, like, the movie has a bit of differences, of course. I mean, every movie does from a book, but I don't know. From what I'm hearing that the movie was like basically the book, except for like a few exceptions here and there. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I will cover that whenever I review this. But something else interesting is that Nothing Lasts Forever is actually in itself a sequel to another book that Roderick Thorp wrote called The Detective, published back in 1966. And then The Detective in itself was turned into a movie starring Frank Sinatra. And something else about Nothing Lasts Forever is that instead of John McClane is the hero, the main hero is Joe Leland, who is an aging, retired police detective. So I just thought that was interesting. But anyway, yeah, I just love Die Hard so much. So, of course, when I found out it was based on a book when I first saw it, I'm like, whoa, that's insane. So, yeah, now that I have the book, I definitely look forward to reading this. I mean, look, it even says the basis for the Die Hard movie. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this and reviewing this. But for anyone who did not know, Die Hard, the greatest Christmas movie of all time, is based on a book. Coming in at the fifth book on this list is actually the direct sequel to Die Hard 2. But instead of being based on another Roderick Thorp novel, because Nothing Lasts Forever was the second book in a 2-book series, so that kind of ended. Instead, they decided to go with a different book for adapting Die Hard 2, and this one is called 58 Minutes. Basically, in Die Hard 2, John McClane is back. His wife is on a plane. He's at the airport waiting up for her. But of course, some terrorists get involved, hijack the airport, and then it's up to John McClane to stop them with the help of police and stuff, of course. So I don't know how similar the book is to the movie. I've only seen the movie just once last Christmas. Die Hard 1 is definitely better, but Die Hard 2 isn't terrible. It isn't bad. It's just okay. But anyway, I don't really know how accurate it is to the book, 58 Minutes. But I don't know. I found the movie interesting, so I would definitely want to read 58 Minutes if, of course, I can find it, and then like read it and review it and stuff. So just stay on the lookout for that, I guess. But anyway, so the first 2 Die Hard movies were based on books, interestingly, but 3, 4, and 5 weren't. They were original screenplays. But the first 2 were based on books. So there you go. Wow, we're already halfway through this list. Wow, this has gone by fast. Anyway, so the sixth movie on this list is actually a favorite of mine and probably a favorite of a lot of teens in the early 80s. It is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So you're probably wondering, that was based on a book? And I say, yeah, I can't believe it either. So when I was watching the movie, it said it was based on the novel by Cameron Crowe. And so Cameron Crowe wrote the book here. It is called Fast Times at Ridgemont High, A True Story. And Cameron Crowe also wrote the screenplay. I believe Fast Times was his debut novel. And it says A True Story under it, so I don't know how true the story is compared to what the movie's true story is. I don't know. I only saw the movie once. I only figured out it was based on a book then, and then I researched the book, and then it's called A True Story. So I don't really know where the true story comes in. But unfortunately, I do not have the book on hand because it seems to have gone out of print since like 1981 when it was released. Because the cheapest copy I could find was like 200 something dollars or whatever, and that is like wicked expensive for a book. Although I really should not be talking about paying unreasonable amounts of money for books because I mean, look at this. But anyway, so yeah, Fast Times at Ridgemont High is actually based on a book written by the screenwriter himself. And I just wonder if that famous Phoebe Cates scene is in the book as well. You know which one I mean. You liked it too. So coming in the seventh spot, our seventh movie on this list is One Battle After Another. Yep, that's right. This year's big Oscar winner. So I have never seen the movie One Battle After Another, although I would be lying if I said that it didn't look tempting to see the trailer and stuff. I don't really watch a lot of the Oscar chosen movies because all the ones I've watched are either ones that won like years ago that I actually like, and the newer ones are kind of either mediocre or just why. So I don't know. I do want to watch Sinners, and I'm thinking about watching One Battle After Another too. But anyway, One Battle After Another is actually based on this book called Vineland. And so, of course, how accurate the movie is to the book, I can't tell you because I've never read the book or the movie. In fact, I literally just found out that One Battle After Another was based on a book while researching for these videos that I'm doing right now. And so, yeah, I was like, huh, interesting. Or maybe it was a little before that and then I did some research. The point is that I didn't know that it was based on a book until like very recently, like within the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting because like this year's big Oscar winner is based on a book that I've never heard of and probably a lot of people haven't heard of either. So I just thought that was interesting. And the eighth movie on our list is Starship Troopers from 1997. So yeah, remember that fun little war film about the humans versus the bugs in 1997? That was based on a book actually. It was based on this book, Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein. And so I haven't seen the movie. I actually tried to see the movie, but apparently my Netflix plan wasn't the correct one, so I couldn't watch it. So I was like, well, dang it. But I did read the book, and I have reviewed it on the channel. So if you have not seen that video, please go watch that. But yeah, I thought Starship Troopers was just a movie too. And then about a year or two ago, I found out that it was based on a book. I'm like, huh, interesting. And so, of course, I sought out the book, I found it, and I read it, and I reviewed it. And then for my thoughts on the book and stuff, you'll have to go watch my dedicated review for it. But anyway, I just kind of thought it was interesting that all these movies that I like heard about for at least a couple of years, I find out are based on books, and I just never knew. I'm just like, huh, interesting. And so Starship Troopers is no exception. And I just thought that was really fun to know. Number 9. The second to last movie on this list is Rambo, or more specifically, the actual title of the first Rambo movie, First Blood. And I bet so many of you did not know that this Sylvester Stallone classic was based on a book. And I didn't until about last year or 2 years ago, or, very recently. Anyway, so apparently the first Rambo movie, First Blood, is based on Sylvester Stallone. He is a Vietnam vet who I guess has some PTSD, and then when some people are after him, he of course activates his killing instincts, and then, you know, goes ham for like 5 movies. Anyway, I have not seen the Rambo movie, although it has piqued my interest over the years. But I was interested to find out that it was based on a book called First Blood. And in the Rambo sequels, like First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo 4, they're not books. No, only the first movie is based on a book, and then the sequels are just kind of a sequel to the movie. However, it looks like some of the sequels, or if not all of them, do have novelizations that were made to tie in with them, but only the first Rambo movie was based on a book. So I thought that was incredibly interesting. So now I'm gonna have to find the book and the movie, and then, you know, read and watch them. So yeah. So the last movie on our list, movie number 10, is Forrest Gump. Yes, Forrest Gump is based on a book too. It is based on this book called Forrest Gump. And so Forrest Gump is basically, you know, Tom Hanks, he plays Forrest Gump. He's basically detailing his entire life up to when he was like a young child with his childhood friend Jenny, up to like his military time and then beyond. And then, like, you know, stuff gets crazier. He witnesses like Watergate and stuff, or at least in the movie he does. I saw the movie without realizing it was a book, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really into the movie, and then the ending happened, and then I just was like, why? So I just find the movie kind of meh, very meh, more negative than positive, I guess. But so when I figured out it was based on a book, I'm like, huh, that's very interesting. And then, even more interesting, the Forrest Gump book actually has a sequel. I don't remember if it's called like Bubba Gump or something. I'll of course show it like right here. But it's actually about Forrest Gump like starting up a shrimp business after the events of the first Forrest Gump book, as far as I know. But the second book does not have a movie along with it, and so Forrest Gump is the only movie in the Forrest Gump book series. But so yeah, I just thought it was interesting that Forrest Gump was based on a book. I'm sure a lot of you knew that already because Forrest Gump is such a beloved movie by so many people that are not me. But yeah, for anyone who did not know, Forrest Gump was based on a book, and that book had a sequel that does not have a movie. But I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, guys, that is it for part 2 of books you did not, movies you did not know were based on books. Sorry, I always have books on the brain. But anyway, there will be one more part to this. It will be part 3. It will round out our movies you did not know were based on books trilogy. But I just thought these 10 books were very interesting because some of them I didn't know myself until very recently. And so I imagine quite a few of you didn't know they were based on books either. But yeah, I like doing videos like these. I like doing non-book reviews because, you know, it kind of has more facts and information and stuff rather than just like opinion pieces. But you know, all that stuff. I just think that making videos like this are just really interesting because like there's a lot of really good movies out there that we just did not know were based on books until someone mentions it, like me, for example. But yeah, please let me know what you thought about this video. Do you agree with my finds that are interesting? Did you already know all of these were based on books? Or do you even have some movies that I didn't mention that were based on books? Remember, I'm making a part 3, so some of those books that you mentioned could be in part 3. But anyway, yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I love you all so much. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below if you have not already. But yeah, I've been Mr. BG. This has been BG's Books, and I will see you guys in the next video.